Sammy Brown, Miller's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Berkeley County Health Department, Procter & Gamble, Delegate Paul Espinosa, Mirius Group and Ameriprise Financial, Parsons Ford, and Skinner Law Firm.
And now, let's go to the ballpark and join our Talk Radio WRNR broadcast team with today's pregame show.
And welcome back into Little League Baseball. It's been about 2 hours since we've been on the air. We've been in a rain delay / lightning delay since about 6:52 in the top of the third inning. Jefferson has a 1-0 lead over Summersville. The rain still falling here at Little Creek Park. The lightning, think that I've only seen one flash of lightning, and that was the one that caused the original delay. But the rain falling in buckets and gallons of buckets for the last 2 hours and still falling at a very steady rate. But they're going to try to get the rest of these two games in, and we are just about ready to get action back underway. Leading it off will be Connor Smith. Play was halted with Smith in a 1-1 count, 2 down in the top of inning number 3. And Matt, I know it's turf outside. I understand that the only dirt on the mound is the only dirt on the field is the pitcher's mound, but still seems like an awful lot of rain coming down for this age group. And you got to wonder about throws not only from the mound, but how many errors could possibly be committed by the infield and outfield.
Yeah, you can watch even as the players, make their moves onto the field. Not so much just a regular step, but when they get into a running type of a motion and you can see that step coming down onto that turf, you can see the wetness, the moisture, the water popping up off of that turf. And so it is, while it is a turf surface, and clearly if this were a regular grass and dirt surface, we wouldn't even be thinking about what we're doing right now, even though it is an artificial surface that allows for an opportunity to take some rain. I really question coming back out here at this moment in time with still a very steady rain coming down.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think in this kind of a situation, the emphasis is just to play. With the whole issue with pitchers' arms and throwing and struggling to do double headers because of the pitching rules, I think the emphasis is to try to get this game in. Looking at the weather right before we came back on the air, still looking at 9 o'clock like there's about 100% chance of rain. Actually just bumped down to 90, so dropping about 10% and a 40% chance of rain at 10 o'clock. Looks like the heavy stuff is out of the way, but should be a consistent rain for at least the next hour and possibly throughout the rest of this ball game. Well, it'll still be Jackson Triplett on the mound for Summersville. And again, Connor Smith will stand in the 1-1 count, 2 down in the inning. His first hit's a ground ball into center field, and that'll be a base hit. Slowed by the water in center field as he will round first, and that ball sent into the infield well past the cutoff man, the second base or shortstop and pitcher. So that'll advance Connor Smith all the way to second base on what was a routine single.
Yeah, very well struck ball that time by Connor Smith to send it into center field. He's 2 for 2 now on the day. Had an RBI double his first time up. That was back in that first inning. So it sends Kelly all the way to third, 2 in scoring position. 2 outs in the inning, and remember, it was a 2-out base hit that put Jefferson on the board in the first to give him the 1-0 lead.
This now brings up Cole Smith, runner in scoring position. A Triplett out of the windup. Here comes that first pitch to Smith. Low and away, ball 1.
Cole Smith had an infield single in that first inning. I think this is where it really gets hard for the pitchers. I mean, Jackson Triplett has been waiting for 2 hours and really hasn't had time to, warm up or get loose again, and so it's tough now to come back out there.
That 1-0 high and inside. That'll be ball 2 to Cole Smith, and Triplett now at the 60 pitch mark officially in this ball game. So I think if you're Summersville and their coaching staff, you just like to get him through 4 innings in this ball game. Here comes that 2-0. That one low and away, ball 3. So 3 pitches have missed the zone after Connor Smith on the first pitch he saw following the start of play again and drilled that one into center field. And now will come the 3-0 pitch to Cole Smith. Here is that 3-0. That's a strike right down the middle.
It took a little something off of that, got it right where he needed to get that first strike, and now we'll try to battle back against Cole Smith.
Another thing to watch also is the slickness of this field for some of these players. Here comes that 3-1 pitch. That's high and inside, ball 4. So runners now at first and second, 2 down here in the top of inning number 3.
Don't forget the runner at third. They're loaded. Ryan Kelly is at third.
That's right, Ryan Kelly was on third, so bases loaded. Bases loaded, 2 down here in the top of inning number 3. Again, about a 2-hour rain delay. And now brings up Brady Roberts. Roberts steps in, takes strike 1 on the outside corner.
That's a big strike right there for Jackson Triplett after walking Smith on 5 pitches. Needed to throw a strike to get ahead of Roberts.
Here comes that 0-1 pitch from Triplett. A swing and a miss, and Roberts now behind on the count 0-2. Looked like Triplett took a little bit off that one, and Roberts well out in front.
Yeah, another nice pitch. That one coming inside to the right-hand batter.
Bases loaded. Here comes that 0-2 pitch to Roberts. Swing and a miss, and Triplett gets out of a bases loaded jam. A strikeout, a number 6 for him on the day. We'll go to the bottom of the third. When we come back, it's still Jefferson holding on to a 1-run lead, 1-0.
Hi, this is Eric from Hagerstown Ford. I keep telling you that Hagerstown Ford has completely changed the car buying experience forever. And with a return policy easier than Walmart, Hagerstown Ford has a goal to deliver 350 cars and trucks per month. And when I say deliver, I mean deliver to you, where you are, just like Amazon does. And if you don't want it, return it. No questions asked. The only way Hagerstown Ford can accomplish this extremely aggressive goal is to make the car buying process fast and easy.
He just
we
made a
simply
bad
refuse to
decision.
play
I
the
wouldn't.
dumb back and forth games
I don't know
that
why he
most
threw all the way to
dealerships
the
want to
plate.
play.
I guess he was
There's
just
absolutely
thinking,
no
hey, the
reason
runner's
for
going
you
to try to
waste your
score.
precious time at a car
But he
dealership.
just
I assure
advances
you,
on the throw
there's no
through.
dealership from Winchester, Virginia to Washington, D.C. that can beat our price. There's no dealership that will allow you to return your new car if you don't want it. Hagerstown Ford absolutely has the best price, and we'll bring the car to you. And if you don't want it, return it, period. No questions asked. There's no reason to buy anywhere else. Visit HagerstownFord.com to schedule your VIP experience and get your new ride delivered to you.
Contact dealer for details.
Welcome back in. Bottom of inning number 3. 1-0, the Jefferson lead over Summersville. Leading it off in the bottom of the third for Summersville will be Ira Malott. Malott's first at-bat of the ball game, the third baseman. It was 2 strikeouts for Tanner Lukens. And back-to-back 1-2-3 innings over the first and second. Those 2 strikeouts coming for outs number 2 and 3 in his last time on the mound about 2 hours ago. So both of these pitchers, both these managers, just sticking with the guys they had on the mound. Again, with those pitch numbers and the pitch rules, you don't really have a choice. You can't waste 2 arms in one ball game that are going to possibly go 40 or more pitches.
Yeah, because you had both pitchers already over the 20-pitch limit, and again, it's 20 or fewer would give you a chance to still come back the next day. If you keep it below 35, you got a chance after only 1 day rest, and so, for these teams in the elimination bracket, every game counts, and I know you got to win the first to get to the second, but you got to have some pitching when you get there as well.
Lukens looking in, waiting for the pitch he wants. He has it now. Here's the first pitch to Malott. A breaking ball catches the inside corner. Strike 1.
Yeah, anxious to see how Lukens responds. It seemed like Triplett, took a couple of batters to really kind of get into a groove, if you will.
Lukens trying with that breaking ball one more time. That one doesn't quite get the break he wants. It stays upstairs for ball 1.
It took him a couple of batters to really begin to get the ball where he wanted to get it.
I want to apologize to those of you watching on WRNR TV as we now have a single ripped, or a line shot to Jackson Earl. Trying to adjust to see underneath the camera or underneath the covering here. Line shot to Jackson Earl. Great snag for out number 1.
Yeah, very good job by Malott getting the bat on that one. It was an outer part of the plate pitch, and he tried to take it the other way, hit it sharply, but right at the second baseman.
Now standing in Cooper Lanham as Lanham takes ball 1 high. We're in an athletic stance looking underneath here. Here comes that 1-0 pitch low and away. Ball 2. We are located in center field, shaded a little towards left field. As here comes that 2-0 pitch, a breaking ball, a chopper down the third base line, and that's going to stay foul. Strike one, 2-1 the count now to Lanham.
Yeah, it was Cole Smith at third, circling around that baseball and getting to it, but outside of that third base bag, a foul ball.
Bases are in.
All right, well,
welcome you back in. I believe we had a power outage briefly. The lights have gone off here at Little Creek Park.
I think power has come back on, at least power enough.
Coming to you live from the Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Studio Rocket Mortgage is with you every step of the way to provide a seamless mortgage experience. It is a weird business that I'm in. You know, I talk about this a lot. Just the notion of fame or being well known, neither of which apply to me, but I certainly am colleagues of people who are well known or can be elevated to fame. And in the last 3 or 4 days, two people that I've had, working relationships with have been pretty aggressively in the news on important and controversial and uncertain things. Jonah Carey, as I mentioned, who I don't know how to describe. I mean, I guess work friend, accused of assaulting his wife 3 times over a span of a year, has been charged, I believe, in Canada. Next court date is November. And Leanne Tweeden, with whom I was a radio host for almost 2 years in L.A., who is the person who made the allegations against Al Franken, that Al Franken sexually harassed her. A New Yorker story out today questioning the accuracy of some of the claims. And it's very long, and I have finished it. You don't, I guess the short answer is you don't know people. And when you have these situations where it's hard to know who to believe, it is hard to know who to believe. And I will certainly take that into account as we discuss those topics as they rise up here in the world of sports. Whether it's Tyreek Hill or Ezekiel Elliott a couple years ago, whatever the case may be. If you want to give us a call, we'd love to hear from you. 855-212-4CBS is the phone number. We'll talk some hoops, just kind of try to make sense of a crazy NBA free agency period with Michael Thompson, Lakers analyst, father to Klay Thompson, former player, all-around great guy. He'll be on about 15 or 20 minutes. You can hit me up on Twitter at SportsReiter, Sports R-E-I-T-E-R. You can look at almost no photos on Instagram, but I'm trying to do a better job at Bill Ryder CBS on Instagram. If you're so inclined, trying to find CBS Sports HQ, 24-hour sports station for never quarters, cord cutters, all that stuff. I have a show there, 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific, Ryder's Block. My name in a pun, but I think the show's pretty good. Pun notwithstanding. And now, here on Ryder Than You, Stuart Kovacs is going to do a Catch Me Up version, a sort of what you missed version, since I was on vacation last week, of 5 things from the world of sports that you, and apparently I, need to know.
Your security clearance is on a need-to-know basis. And these are 5 things you need to know. Number 1.
All right, Bill, welcome back. We missed you, and we're happy to have you back.
Good to be back, man.
So while you're gone, last Sunday, the Wimbledon men's finals took place between Roger Federer and Novak Djokovic, and it was a match for the ages. Djokovic defeated Federer 7-6, 1-6, 7-6, 4-6, 13-12 in a match that lasted 4 hours and 55 minutes, the longest final in Wimbledon history, and included a fifth-set tiebreaker. It was Djokovic's 16th Grand Slam title, which is third all-time behind Federer and Rafael Nadal, his fifth Wimbledon title, which is fourth all-time behind Federer, William Renshaw, and Pete Sampras, and he now has a record of 3-0 against Federer in Wimbledon titles.
I was off, and I intended to get up and watch the whole thing, which would have been 6 a.m. I didn't make it. I did get up at 8 a.m., and I saw a whole lot of tennis, and it was an amazing, amazing match. And it's also, I think, it will prove to be maybe decisively important in the all-time great conversation, because Djokovic, who's 6 years younger than Federer, I believe 6, has 16 Grand Slam titles, as Stu mentioned. Federer has 20. So it's a 4 margin instead of what would have been a 6 margin. 21-15 versus 20-6. Incredibly significant. Nadal, Federer, Djokovic, all of them are going to have a case for the greatest player of all time. All of them are in contention. I think the betting favorite now is probably going to be Djokovic over the other two guys by the time it's all said and done.
Number 2.
Last hour, we discussed Jim Harbaugh's idea for a one-time free transfer for student athletes. Well, Harbaugh also made headlines last week when appearing on the TK Show on the Athletic Podcast Network. He had this to say about former head coach Urban Meyer and his retirement.
Urban Meyer's had a winning record, really phenomenal record everywhere he's been, but also controversy follows everywhere he's been.
Ooh, aggressive, Jimmy. Well, it's true. It is absolutely true, and that won't stop a multitude of schools from beating down a path to his door if there's a chance to hire him. If there's an opening at Notre Dame, which is probably the place that makes sense, but anywhere. Texas has a need. Any place that's a major program that has the resources to win a national championship, if in a year or 2 or 3 feels like their coaching situation isn't effective enough, or that job becomes open, Urban Meyer is going to have an opportunity, and I would imagine probably take a job.
Number 3.
While you were gone, a lot was made of the contract status of Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott. Pro Football Talk reported last week that Elliott has privately said that he would hold out of training camp unless he gets a new contract, as he is in the last year of his rookie deal. Meanwhile, earlier today, NFL Network's Ian Rappaport said that Elliott has not decided if he will hold out, with the team reporting to training camp in just 4 days. And CBS's Jason Lock-and-Four says that he continues to hear that an Elliott holdout is very unlikely.
I mean, it's an interesting situation because the Cowboys, the way the franchise tag works, you can control these guys, their destinies for several more years. How many more years is Elliott under control by the Cowboys if you include the franchise tags too? It's 4, isn't it?
If you include the franchise, it's 4, yeah.
I mean, there's 4 years where they control him for 2, franchise tag 1, franchise tag 2. That's 4 years, and this is the moment Zeke's probably going to have the most leverage he's going to have. As Therese Paylor said earlier, the offense goes through him. But Dak Prescott, I mean, there are going to be tough decisions to be made. The money's going to go away. If I'm not usually a guy that's about holding out, if I'm Zeke, this might be the moment.
Number 4.
Giants wide receiver Golden Tate was in the news last week for comments he made to WDIV-TV in Detroit.
Stafford's been the best quarterback I played with. The guy can flat out play. He's tough, and his attitude's amazing, and he just wants to play ball. And for me, you know, I have nothing but praises for him. I think it's almost unfair that he's such a good player and doesn't have, you know, playoffs or a ring to show for it. And that's, you know, that kind of hurts my heart that I wasn't able to, you know, help change that. But, you know, I think over his career, if you put him in another organization, maybe things are different.
Tate, of course, played 4 seasons in Seattle with Russell Wilson, in addition to 4 seasons in Detroit with Stafford. In Stafford's career, he has an 88.4 quarterback rating, has thrown for over 4,000 yards in 7 of his last 8 seasons, and has led the Lions to a 66-75 record with 3 playoff appearances. Meanwhile, Wilson has a 100.3 quarterback rating, has thrown for 4,000 yards just twice, but has a 75-36-1 record and has an 8-5 postseason record, including a Super Bowl victory.
All right, can I just, obviously, and Stu walked us through some of the stats there. Obviously, Russell Wilson's the better quarterback. So let me just speculate on what I don't know. Here's my speculation. Here's my guess, my educated guess. I just think guys don't like Russell Wilson. They don't. I think they know he's talented. And there was a time when I might have pushed back on that, but man, the whole new contract announcement in bed in the pajamas with the Giants, I don't know, man. Put on some clothes. Like talking to my 6-year-old, my 7-year-old. Put on some clothes, Henry. Get out of your pajamas, buddy. We're going to get ice cream. What are you, a 7-year-old? Get out of your pajamas if you want to make a public declaration. Anyway, that was a little aggressive. I just think guys don't like him. We've seen that in the defensive end, and that is not real praise meant for Stafford. That is a shot meant for Russell Wilson.
Number 5.
Last
What
week,
number? What number?
Number 5. Number 5.
Oh, first time. No, I liked it.
Last week, Clippers executive Jerry West spoke publicly for the first time since the team acquired Kawhi Leonard and Paul George this summer. West told the Dan Patrick Show, quote, Steve Ballmer's willing to spend on players. He's willing to spend on personnel within the front office. I've never been around any organization that is better than this one, that's for sure, end quote. West, of course, played for the Lakers in the 60s and 70s, coached the Lakers in the late 70s, was their general manager for over a decade, and had a recent stint with the Warriors with their front office.
Yeah, I mean, Jerry West is I think he's the greatest GM of all time. And I know he hasn't earned this yet, but you take that and you pair it with an owner in Steve Ballmer who is engaged and has $26 billion in the bank in cash. Can you imagine? I can too. Be amazing. Be amazing. The party I would throw for all of us. It would be no, Stu can't come. It would be an amazing. No, you can come, Stu. It would be an amazing party. Yeah, I think the Clippers are going to be a force in the years ahead. And if the Lakers don't get their act together from a competency perspective, the moves they've made notwithstanding, the Clippers could be the dominant team here for a very, very long time.
Those are Bill Ryder's 5 things you need to know on CBS Sports Radio's Ryder Than You.
855-212-4CBS if you want to give us a call. So, guys, last week, were you both working, Stu, Trace? What was the week like while I was gone?
Yeah, I was here all 5 days, shockingly. I know I usually take off, random days and random weeks.
No, you never take days off when I'm off. No, I knew you'd be here all 5 days.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I was here all 5 days. That is right. I was here.
How was the week? I was here all 5 days. Okay.
It was a good week. It was a fun week of shows.
Good story. Trace, what do you got? What happened? You were here 3 days? Okay, great.
So, yeah, I was here all 3 days. That's how the week went.
Perfect. All we need to know about how the shows... So what was the big news that broke while I was gone?